All right, welcome to this explainer on English 7. I am super excited to be here with you today because, well, we're going to treat this entire school year not just as your standard class, but as an epic quest. We're going to build those literacy skills from the ground up, and you can think of me as your enthusiastic tour guide through this amazing world of stories, arguments, and dramatic performances. Today, we're going to break down exactly what to expect over the coming months, so let's jump right in.
Okay, here's our basic roadmap for the year. We're starting with core literacy, moving right into fiction foundations, shifting gears to deep nonfiction, exploring poetry and drama, uncovering oral traditions, and then wrapping the whole shebang up with final outcomes.
As you'll see, our full 36-week academic year is perfectly paced out. It's divided into 6 distinct 6-week blocks, and honestly, this structure is fantastic because it means we have plenty of time to truly conquer each new challenge before moving on. You know, you're not going to be rushed. You'll have the space to actually master these concepts. So, let's kick things off with Section 1, Core Literacy and Building the Foundation. Basically, everything we do is built on these core pillars: reading closely, writing persuasively, and speaking confidently. We aren't just reading for the sake of reading here. We're actually turning you into a literary detective. And the absolute most crucial part of this? Evidence-based analysis. You won't just be throwing your opinions out there, you're going to be proving your points using hard evidence directly from the text. Moving right along to Section 2, let's see how you'll use those new detective skills during our first 12 weeks, which we call Fiction Foundations.
In our first 6 weeks, we immediately contrast two totally different worlds, made-up stories versus factual information. When we look at literary texts, we're asking how the author's structure actually shapes the meaning and the central ideas. But when we flip over to informational texts, our focus shifts to finding and citing that real-world data. It's a really great exercise in switching your analytical gears.
Then, in Unit 2, we zoom way in on short fiction. We're talking about breaking stories down to their absolute core elements. We'll be analyzing the plot, uncovering those central conflicts, and tracking character change. Like, why do characters act the way they do? And how does the narrator's point of view kind of manipulate how we understand the theme? This is where stories really come to life. All right, Section 3, Deep Nonfiction. Around week 13, as we hit the winter months, we pivot our focus entirely back to the real world. In Unit 3, you'll be exploring a huge variety of nonfiction. We're talking biographies, memoirs, essays, and some pretty complex arguments. You're going to evaluate the author's ultimate purpose. What are they actually trying to convince you of? And, maybe more importantly, what hard evidence are they using to build those arguments? By the end of this, you'll be able to spot a weak argument from a mile away. Then, when springtime rolls around, we arrive at Section 4, Poetry and Drama. This is where words literally jump off the page and become a performance. The key takeaway here is how drastically our reading strategy shifts between these two mediums. In Unit 4's poetry, we're decoding figurative language, listening for sound devices, and figuring out the speaker's tone. It's super interpretive. But then, in Unit 5's drama, we shift again. We're reading the text specifically as a performance, so we have to pay close attention to dialogue, scene structure, and those hidden cues the playwright leaves behind for us. And here's the real secret sauce of drama: stage directions. You aren't just reading what characters say out loud. You're visualizing exactly how they move, where they stand, and even how they fight on stage. It completely transforms reading from a passive activity into this active, highly visual exercise in imagination. Finally, we reach our epic destination at the end of the year, Section 5, covering Unit 6, Themes in the Oral Tradition. For our last 6 weeks, we dive deep into myths, legends, and folk tales from all over the world. These aren't just old, dusty stories. They're literal time capsules. We'll pay close attention to the cultural values embedded in these tales. What did these ancient cultures fear? What did they celebrate? The answers are all right there, hidden in their stories. Now, as we journey through these ancient texts, a massive question emerges. Why do oral stories survive across generations and cultures? Seriously, how does a story told around a campfire thousands of years ago still resonate with us today? Finding the answer to that essential question is our ultimate goal for Unit 6. To wrap up our explainer today, let's look at Section 6, Final Outcomes. By the time summer vacation rolls around, you won't just be reading,
You'll be decoding. You'll be able to identify ancient archetypes and recurring themes in basically anything you watch or read. You'll easily compare cultural values across the globe, explain the distinct features of oral traditions, and, this is the big one, synthesize all of it to create a formal, research-supported presentation.
So ultimately, the course leaves you with one final challenge: creating that research-supported presentation. The question is, are you ready to take all the evidence you've gathered, the stories you've analyzed, and the detective skills you've spent the year honing, and present your own powerful voice to the world? I know you are.